What is wrong with it?
And as the sun rises here in Iowa, voters are focusing, well, on breakfast, but then they're going to be focusing on today's historic caucuses. Let me give you some of the big picture. President Trump won this state's electoral votes back in 2016. That was only the second time that a Republican scored a victory here in the past 8 general elections. It happened this way. 31 counties that voted for President Obama in 2012 flipped to President Trump in 2016. That is the most of any state in this union. We visited Howard County, that's on the Minnesota border, to find out why so many Iowans swung to Mr. Trump and whether they might swing back for any of the Democrats running for office. If swing voters are what you're looking for, no county in America swung more dramatically than this one. Howard County, Iowa voted for President Obama by more than 20 points before a 40-point swing and a landslide victory for President Trump. All of which raises a question. What happened?
Well, what I've been hearing mainly is that he was an outsider.
Laura Hubka is chair of the Democratic Party in Howard County, one of more than 200 counties nationwide that turned for President Trump in 2016.
I love this country.
Now Democratic contenders are hoping those swing voters are willing to swing back. But up here, folks get a little particular.
I don't think Howard County is going to play well for Biden at all.
Because he's the establishment.
He is the establishment, even though he knows all the world leaders and, I don't think that means as much as somebody that's an outsider here.
Bernie Sanders is doing well in Iowa.
But I feel in Howard County, it's still scary. It's going to be socialism. I don't know how he'll do in Iowa, but up here, a moderate candidate's going to do well.
I-18.
The veterans calling out bingo numbers at the county fairground seem to agree. All 3 of you voted for Obama in 2012 and then switched to Trump.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes.
And all 3 of you switching back?
I'm switching back.
I'm switching back.
That's what's at stake.
All 3 are leaning toward Pete Buttigieg, or at least leaning away from President Trump.
When Trump went to the office, he got rid of all the people I thought that were going to help him do what he needed to do. He fired the generals. He said he was smarter than generals. We're all retired military. We're not smarter than generals.
Nearby at the local UAW Union Hall, we found another disaffected Trump voter.
Honestly, what really turned me off of him was just the way he is.
Behavior.
It's his behavior.
Like a lot of her neighbors, Sarah Burke is a fan of Pete Buttigieg.
I just think as far as maybe trying to beat Trump, we need to get somebody else in the mix that wasn't kind of in that mix with the last election.
Others, like farmer Barry Christensen, aren't sure if they'll swing back.
And you may go back to the Democratic Party.
It's possible.
He says he's leaning Republican, but not if the eventual Democratic nominee has a better plan for agriculture.
I don't know if anybody could be certain until you can evaluate both. I'm not going to say absolutely no matter who's on the other side, I am or am not going to vote for Donald Trump.
You're a potentially persuadable voter.
Absolutely.
It's a powerful position to be.
I hope so.
Yet on a Friday night in another corner of the county, things look a little different at KCD Bar.
2008, you voted for Obama.
Yes.
2012, Obama again. 2016, you voted for Trump.
Yes.
You know that they don't really get along, right?
Right.
Owner Vicky Ator warns Democrats may have hurt themselves with all this impeachment business.
I think people are so sick of this and everything that they're going to vote him back in no matter what.
That's what you're hearing from people around here.
Yes.
And you know what?
Hey, everybody, can I have your attention?
She wasn't lying. Raise your hand if you think President Trump's going to win again in 2020 here. Really? Wow. And I tell you what, guys, Lauren Hubka, who we met at the top of the piece, she's the Democratic Party chair. She actually agrees with those folks at the KCD bar. She's just hoping to cut into President Trump's margin of victory. Her definition of success is instead of a 20-point win, a 10-point win. Oh, and by the way, her pick as the nominee, Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah. A lot of support up there for Mayor Pete, Tony.
Yeah, it complicates Joe Biden's message. He's the one trying to pick off those former Trump voters, but Mayor Pete seems to be having some success.
But it sounds like you ran into a lot of potentially persuadable voters. What a great position and great power they have at this particular time.
a tremendous amount of power. People on the Democrat side, they refer to them as soon-to-be former Republicans.
Yeah. That's why it's so fluid still in Iowa. Thanks, Tony.